Hi, I'm Anquinette Crosby. Welcome to County Report this week. Coming up in the next half hour, the life-saving gift that created a special bond between two former police officers. Plus, we get an update on how the opioids crisis is affecting our county. And later, your chance to travel back in time during the county's historic civil rights tour. We'll explain how you can take part. But first, thousands of county residents use Metro every day. Recently, a town hall meeting was held in Silver Spring to discuss ways to ensure the subway system stays on the right track. Susan Kennedy has more.
Ending turnbacks.
I work in Farragut North, and there are days that I am rushing down L Street, I'm running down the escalator.
Adding more 8-car trains.
Can someone talk about how we can have 8 train cars and be on a consistent basis?
And better accommodations for the disabled.
I look at the sign that says, in case of an emergency, leave your wheelchair and bicycle behind.
That's just part of the discussion that took place at the Council's Transportation and Environment Town Hall discussion on Metro service improvements. And Montgomery County Metro Board members Michael Goldman and Kathy Porter were also on hand. The meeting was the brainchild of T&E Committee Chair Tom Hucker.
So where better to be than right where people are most affected by it? We're here in the Silver Spring Civic Building, but there's a lot of riders of Metro who get on in Forest Glen, in Glenmont, and Wheaton, who are also going to be here tonight because part of the general manager's proposal is to double the number of trains going to those stations.
Michael Goldman presented the audience with a plan for service improvements that includes ending the Silver Spring turnback, doubling rush hour service on the northeastern end of the Red Line, adding cars on all lines to increase rush hour capacity, adding 30 minutes of peak service, and having a flat fare on the weekends. Panelists were invited to speak about how Metro's reliability and service affects their livelihood.
Employees are not making it to work on time. People aren't making it to the meetings on time.
I also think it is kind of ridiculous that our Metro closes at midnight.
And the audience was full of Metro users who let leaders know how important Metro service is to their quality of life.
So when you had the extended shutdowns for Metro, it seemed like things were done, given that there was going to be a disruption, to make things as difficult as possible for those of us who are still trying to use the system.
I think all of us on the council are trying to do more meetings in the community. We want to be accessible to our constituents, and more of them, we certainly are very well aware of all the transportation hassles in Montgomery County.
Reporting from Silver Spring, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
In the next few months, the Planning Board will be tackling a number of key issues. They include Vision Zero for the Veers Mill Corridor. This week on the county's Spanish language radio show, we got an update from the chairman of the Planning Board.
We're working on a plan for the Veers Mill Road Corridor right now that's really focused on pedestrian safety, and I'm really excited because there seems to be a consensus that we need to slow down cars, to improve safety and make the communities along Veers Mill Road more livable. So that's fantastic. A few years ago, I think we would have seen a lot of people coming out saying, you can't slow down the traffic. And now I think people recognize that there's too many people getting hit by cars as they're trying to cross the street in their own neighborhood. And so we're making a lot of progress.
The county's planning board has 5 members. They act on such issues as growth, transportation, and environmental protection, to name a few. The board meets every Thursday at the address on your screen. For more info, visit montgomeryplanningboard.org. A former Montgomery County police officer gave her ex-partner a gift that keeps on giving. MyMC Media's Jordan Lindsay has more.
This is the moment retired Montgomery County police officer Stanley Barsh found out that he would be getting a new kidney.
I was taken aback, very surprised. I didn't know what to expect.
And the story gets even better.
So I heard you're in need of a kidney, and obviously I could see the pun that she put urine, which was pretty funny. But anyway, so I started reading it, and it's like, yeah, and then want mine. Turns out we're a perfect match, not only on the job, but in blood and organs too.
Turns out the 100% perfect match for Stanley's new kidney happens to be his former NCPD partner, Megan Ambrose.
He was my partner on the job for 3.5 years, and he became family, and that's what you do for family. You help them.
Stanley was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease when he was 25 years old, and he says it's gotten worse throughout the years. But thanks to his partner in crime, he's getting another chance at life.
Yeah, I was at 13% kidney function. My kidney dropped from 25% to 13% over the last couple months.
When I graduated the academy, Stan was already on the road. So I got assigned to his sector. And he had been a police officer before, and he kind of like took me under his wing, and we saw the good and the bad and the ugly together, and that forms an unexplainable bond.
Now that the good news is out, the next thing is the surgery, which is expected to take place on May 14th.
If you know of somebody that needs an organ or even donate blood, get tested, try it out.
People who are living donors are the unsung heroes. I mean, really. They are given the most amazing gift to anyone. Megan's given the most amazing gift to me. It is what you call priceless.
Reporting in Silver Spring, Jordan Lindsay for County Report This Week.
Coming up on County Report This Week, we'll tell you about a proposed state bill that stems from a homicide which took the life of a pregnant-only teacher and her unborn son. And we have info about the county's Civil Rights Tour. Learn how you can take part. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going. Recycle more now.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Anquinette Crosby. National Consumer Protection Week is celebrated the second week of March each year. Investigator Joy Matthews from the county's office has more.
Hello, I'm Joy Matthews, an investigator here at the Montgomery County Office of Consumer Protection. I wanted to let you know that March 4th through 10th is National Consumer Protection Week. During this period, we put the spotlight on consumer issues
they have leftover material from down the block
and things you can do to protect yourself from home improvement scams, unfair business practices, financial fraud, and more.
He's going to start his own investigations.
Throughout the week, our office will be at county libraries. Please come meet the OCP staff and investigators, ask your consumer and regulatory questions, and pick up educational materials. Here's the schedule. Please check our website for more information and updates. While you're there, you'll also find consumer tips and advice, news and press releases, how to file a complaint, and more. Go to montgomerycountymd.gov/consumer.
Lawmakers in Annapolis are proposing a new bill that determines fetal homicide. This stems from a case in which a pregnant-only school teacher was murdered by her boyfriend. Here's more about Laura Wallen and her family's fight to get this bill passed in her honor.
Laura Wallen was murdered because she was pregnant. The words, "I'm sorry for your loss," will mean so much more with a follow-up that says, "And I will vote yes to support Laura and Reed's law."
With those words, Mark Wallen urged Maryland lawmakers to pass a law named for his daughter and grandson, both killed in a Damascus field on September 4th, 2017. Her boyfriend, Tyler Tessier, was charged in the murder, but as the trial was beginning to start, Tessier took his life inside a Montgomery County jail cell. Senator Justin Reedy, a Carroll County Republican, describes the Laura and Reed bill.
In September of 2017, Laura was 14 weeks pregnant with a boy she decided to name Reed. When Laura's boyfriend and the child's father, Tyler Tessier, found out about the pregnancy, and after first attending the first sonogram, he ruthlessly murdered Laura and Reed. Due to Maryland's current fetal homicide laws, Tessier could not be charged for the murder of Reed Wallen because Reed was only 14 weeks in development. As of November of last year, 38 states in the United States have fetal homicide laws, of which Maryland is one of them. 33 of these 38 states have laws that pertain to and protect the earlier stages of pregnancy in a situation like this.
In 6 states, including Maryland, a fetus can be a homicide victim only if the fetus is 26 weeks old, a time when it can be viable outside the womb.
The bill was narrowly crafted to protect pregnant women from violent criminals. It does not have any bearing on medical or abortive procedures.
Reedy said the bill is modeled after what California and other states have done. When Tessier was charged, Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy said the judge would know that Laura Wallen was pregnant and it would be taken into account at sentencing. Mark Wallen offered a reason why the bill is still needed.
The defense put into their exclusions that they wanted to have the fact that Laura was pregnant irrelevant to, basically not even mentioned to the jury because of the fact that there was no bearing that that murdering a pregnant woman mattered, and so the defense attorney put that specific clause into their exclusion of what was not allowed to be talked about, and so this law would in fact matter to the family and to the woman and to the whole way that the law is perceived.
Wallen said Montgomery County lawmakers can't get past the difference of murdering a pregnant woman and a woman's right to choose.
I'm hopeful people will really listen and read the bill and look at it closely and not just listen maybe to the idea that some groups may not like it because they're worried about unintended consequences way down the road. Hopefully we can just get people to really look at the bill and look at the issue and get movement on it.
In Annapolis, this is Doug Tallman reporting for County Report This Week.
This may be the ultimate history tour about the civil rights movement. It's a bus tour that retraces the steps of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights heroes. The bus tour takes place from April 6th through the 14th. The cost of the trip and other info can be found at montgomerycountymd.gov/human rights. Coming up on County Report This Week, how students at one local school are making sure others don't go hungry. We'll tell you more about the lunch program. And how Rockville is turning the city purple to bring attention to the opioid crisis. Stay with us. County Report This Week. We'll be right back.
We all know the stress of driving into downtown Silver Spring and the district, but thanks to Ride On, I don't have to worry anymore. Route 129 is a new limited-stop bus route running both directions along the US 29 corridor, from Burtonsville Park and Ride to the Paul Serene Silver Spring Transit Center. There are even free, convenient park and ride lots along the route. Now my commute is relaxing. Plus, I'm helping get cars off the road, reducing congestion and my commute time.
Ride On. Get there faster.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to County Report this week. I'm Anquinette Crosby. Many believe that closing the achievement gap starts in infancy. MC explored this at a recent education summit held on the campus. Carolina Galeano has the story.
Educators and daycare providers packed the house at Montgomery College's second annual Regional Early Childhood Education Summit to gain teaching strategies, certification hours, and insight into their industry.
The only country that has an aging population and also a young population is the United States, right? Now, of course, when you look at that young population, you do observe something. The majority of those children are children of color, and that is growing. So logic tells you that if those are the same children who right now are disproportionately affected by this academic achievement gap, how are we going to maintain our competitive edge in the United States if we don't make sure that all children, but especially those who are not doing so well, are able to achieve at their highest potential, right? Because they are our workforce.
We are, in every way, involved with the community, particularly, of course, in this case, in early childhood education.
More than 500 attendees participated in bilingual workshops and met local, state, and national partners with unique incentives.
Montgomery College is one of the ones leading efforts, and so we've also created a pathway actually giving credit for what's called a CDA, or a credential that's national. So we're the only college in Maryland that does that currently.
We have several programs that they can participate in that will allow them to receive training money so that they don't have to pay for training for themselves, bonuses in our credentialing program, annual bonuses.
While childcare providers benefit from the summit, the ultimate beneficiaries are the children they engage with on a daily basis.
As a provider, my goal is to be more professional, to learn more about my field, how I need to create more opportunities to children and families.
The class that I'm taking over here is something new for me, something that I can give you to my kids.
For County Report this week, in Silver Spring, I'm Carolina Galeano.
Each Friday from October through May, Carter Rock Springs Elementary does an amazing community service project. MCPS TV traveled to Bethesda to take a look.
Every Friday we do what's called Hunger Helpers, and it's actually a really great school-wide program where the kids are encouraged to bring in sandwiches, and then they are donated to Martha's Table.
Community service is the universal language. I really believe that in my bones, and I know that when the kids come to school excited to donate and think about others, they're not only benefiting the people in our local and abroad community, but they're also learning a lot about who they want to be as people in the long run. We always talk about this sandwich is going to go to feed somebody that otherwise wouldn't eat this very day, and that's pretty neat.
Meat and cheese right over here.
So the sandwiches are made at home, and the kids wrap them and bring them in, and then the student council goes around and they count each grade level's sandwiches. Children that know how this works will say, how many people did we feed today?
This is 6. We were counting sandwiches. Then when we bring them downstairs to our treasurer, she knows how much we have.
Today, on Friday morning, I tally all the sandwiches from all the class reps, and so then I can get a whole school total. It makes me feel good because I'm glad that I'm giving back every week.
It's amazing. Every week it just gets better and better. The kids get really excited about it. Their hearts are in it. They're just, it's something that they're really doing for the community.
It's peanut butter.
It's peanut butter? Okay, well, we'll put it in the peanut butter pile, okay? Thanks so much for making sandwiches.
It just makes me feel like I've actually done something to help the community. It feels great. Making sandwiches for people is really making me feel joyful and happy. Yeah, it's fun.
The school's food donation record is nearly 2,200 sandwiches in 1 week. Fantastic. Keep up the great work. Now, this is troubling. Officials say the opioid epidemic is still alive and well. MyMC Media's Jordan Lindsay tells us more about the local impact.
Opioid addiction has reached crisis levels across the nation, including the local community.
Fentanyl is the driving cause of all these overdoses.
Karen Miller with the Maryland Heroin Awareness Advocates says she's fighting against the epidemic simply because it has impacted her family directly.
With my husband being on opioids for 18 years and then my son also struggling with addiction, Our family has been through trauma and chaos.
Then there's Montgomery County resident Vicki Bishop.
This is my son, Brian Meyer. He died 16 months ago on Halloween. He died of an overdose of a number of different drugs, one of which being fentanyl.
With the epidemic claiming so many lives, it's important to note that there's something out there to help, and it's called Narcan.
There are different types. It's the same medication within, and it pulls the opioid off the opioid receptor so that would stop the overdose.
However, Miller says the price has increased significantly throughout the years.
It went from $575 to $4,100.
Moving forward, the goal is to fight the epidemic through education and resources.
People need to understand that addiction is a disease. It's not a moral failing, and it needs to get the same respect, treatment, dollars, and everything else that all the other diseases get.
Reporting in Rockville, Jordan Lindsay for County Report This Week.
In Rockville, city officials are taking steps to fight back against the opioid crisis with an awareness campaign. Rock 11's Kathy Dantzler tells us how you can take part in this citywide effort.
In the last 2 years, more than 11 million people have misused prescription opioid drugs, and over 40,000 people have died from opioid overdoses. Unfortunately, Rockville is not immune to this crisis, and that's why the city wants to take steps to fight back. This year, the city is sponsoring an awareness campaign, Rockville Goes Purple. And since collaboration is essential for success in prevention, we're kicking off our campaign with a special event on March 7th with former professional basketball player and recovery advocate Chris Herron. Herron, who has battled the disease of addiction, has been sober since 2008. His recovery journey has been documented in several small-screen films, including the Emmy-nominated ESPN Films documentary, Unguarded. And now, his journey of recovery has become the motivation to help others. That's why Herron created Herron Project. It provides advocacy for individuals, families, and even communities dealing with this growing epidemic. So get informed and be inspired on March 7th at 7 p.m. at the F. Scott Fitzgerald Theater. Rockville will continue its efforts throughout the year that will include an expert panel discussion and even training on how to respond to an opioid overdose. Remember, we're all in this together. For County Report This Week, I'm Kathy Dantzler.
Coming up on County Report This Week, Fire and Rescue introduces us to its new furry colleague that has reported for duty. And then we introduce you to Face. Yep, that's his name, and he's our pet of the week. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Hey, mister, down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout, and this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe, so respect the bus.
County residents are required by law to clear sidewalks in front of and alongside their properties within 24 hours of the end of a snowstorm. Working together, Montgomery County can stay safe and warm this winter. Good neighbors clear their sidewalks of ice and snow. For more information, call 311 or go to montgomerycountymd.gov/safe sidewalks.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Anquinette Crosby. A poet kicked off one of the most prestigious lecture series at MC. Keith Wilson combines poetry with visual art to discuss how race and culture change experiences. Danielle Stesky has more.
I am in Globe Hall on Montgomery College Germantown campus to talk with Afro-Latin poet and game designer Keith Wilson. Keith, you recently gave a lecture called Field Notes, Race, Love, and Violence in the Melting Pot. Could you summarize what that was about?
Yeah, so
I talked about my book, Field Notes and Ordinary Love, which comes out 5/21 through Copper Canyon Press. And so that's sort of a book that's about racial violence in America, about sort of growing up in Kentucky after having left California. And then there's also a lot of it that's sort of about romantic love and familial love. So I read poems from that collection, and I also read from some new things that I've been working on, which are more visual poems. They sort of use the page as a kind of canvas or a graphic design space that uses both the lyric as well as typography and layout and diagrams and those kinds of things. So I used a projection of those images while I read.
Very interesting. And taking into consideration the political climate that we have in the country, do you think racism will outlive us in America?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that that prejudice of all kinds are sort of they're kind of baked into the human experience. So I think they're part of being human, and so they existed before there was America. They will exist after there is America. They're sort of a consequence of tribalism and our the way that we sort of view other people as outsiders. And so yeah, I mean. We do what we can. I'm writing poetry about it. I'm thinking about it all the time. But it's the kind of thing that we as humans have been dealing with since the beginning of time. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say that it's a thing that we're just going to get over anytime soon.
Thank you for your insight. For County Report this week in Germantown, I'm Danielle Stesky.
The county's Fire and Rescue Services has a new furry addition. MyMC Media's Jordan Lindsay has more on what the new K9 specializes in.
Go for it.
This is Piper, a 15-month-old black Labrador retriever and Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services' newest addition.
She's a very loving dog. She always wants to be around people. She could be a therapy dog. She very well could be. She likes having attention, getting attention, and she likes being petted.
This canine is more than a cute face. She's also being specifically trained to detect human remains.
Building collapse or a fire scene, even someone missing in the water, she's trained to find them. The thing we use the human remains detection dog for is to bring closure to a family after a disaster or an accident.
Piper isn't the only canine on the force. Montgomery fire officials say they have several others trained for a variety of different things.
Within the department, we have a live find disaster dog. Piper is a cadaver dog, which is different. We also have bomb dogs with the police department, and we have narcotics dogs with the police department that find narcotics. And then last, with the fire department, we have an accelerant dog, which helps our arson unit.
And although Piper is still in training, once that's complete,
she can take the test in 3 months when she's 18 months old, but chances are it'll take probably 6 months to get her ready to take the federal government's test.
Reporting in Rockville, Jordan Lindsay for County Report This Week.
Now it's time to meet our pet of the week. This is Face. He's a 2-year-old American Pit Bull Terrier. Face is social, sweet, and funny. But sadly, this love bug has had a rough start in life. Luckily, the shelter's amazing animal control team came to his rescue and saved him. Face has now been nurtured back to health. This young dog is so ready to find his forever home. To learn more, please call the Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center at 240-773-5900 or visit Face on the web at montgomerycountymd.gov/ASD. With that, we close this edition of County Report This Week. Remember to like us on Facebook and to join us again at this time every week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. I'm Anquinette Crosby. Thank you for watching.